Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unofficial Commentary on Power Rangers Ninja Steel. This week, we are watching Episode 2, Forged in Steel. Can we quit it with the steel puns right now? Because I have a feeling that they're going to get even worse as time goes on. Anyways, let's begin. Oh, so he was a member of the Ninja Storm Academy? Now, I can tell you I know who two of those are, and wow! Car broken down on the side of the road in the second episode. That ain't familiar at all! Don't talk to the fucking car. Well, at least he's being goofy. You know, I have a hard time telling if that dog would have actually reacted like that. And why the hell wouldn't you have stayed in the truck? You know, don't touch that. That's gonna be. Well, even if it was, and if it dropped from space, it would be freaking hot. And the video's frozen. And wonderful. Thank you, Nickelodeon. You don't like to buffer properly, do you? So is this the mechanic guy that was supposed to be like the Red Ranger? Has his role been repurposed into this? And one of these days, I kind of want to go over those casting sides and see what all's changed, because I've been over I went over the generic male Red Ranger, her casting side in my audition, and it was identical to the generic female Ranger casting side. But then there were like a couple of other ones that were a tiny bit dumb. It's buffered. Let's go ahead and resume at 1 minute and 25 seconds. Now, like I was trying to say, I have a hard... What is with people just grabbing random crap up off the ground in badly produced crap like this? I mean, the plastic pipe, I don't understand, but the pausing at 157 because it's buffering. Anyways, yeah, the pipe that who I'm presuming will become Yellow Ranger over there is holding. I actually kind of get that. What the hell is White Ranger holding right there? I mean, that's just like plastic ducting. It could hurt about a fly, and that's it. You see this all the time in cheaply made stuff, and this isn't cheaply made. Power Rangers has an annual budget of about, well, not annual, biannual budget of about $35 million. That's how much it costs to make Megaforce. And that's how much it costs to make Dino Charge. I think it's about the same amount of money that it costs to make Samurai, too. So what is it with people just grabbing random crap to act as weapons in things like this? I mean, they did it in Birdemic. They did it in Sharknado. They do it in pretty much every single movie the Asylum makes. Although, honestly, Transmorphers was a bit more along the lines of something like this than, their typical fare. But anyways, resuming at 1 minute and 57 seconds. That gave me time to rant and for the video to load. Haha. Hang on, pausing at 2:25. Behind the times. You mean to tell me that the Milky Way galaxy, in this universe, which has produced 25 teams of superpowered heroes, is behind the times? You know what? It's more than 25. The Ninja Turtles, Masked Rider, and his crew. The Equitar Rangers are from the Milky Way galaxy, as far as I know. So is Andros. And, I keep meaning to watch Super Mega Force, but I can't bring myself to view more Neo Saban badness than I have to. But isn't Orion also from the Milky Way galaxy? Isn't the Milky Way galaxy where there have been, how many domestic teams of Rangers in this universe alone? Oh, yeah. It's like 22, 23, if you count things differently. I mean, Earth-produced technology. You've got, I don't know, Ninja Storm. Part of Zeo. Oh, speaking of which, Zeo. Mr. Gold Ranger, Trey of Treforia. Not to mention, Ninja Storm, Ninja Academy, Samurai, a long-standing team of Rangers. It contradicts a whole lot of previously established continuity, but a hell of a lot less than this does. Than this one line. Oh, yeah. Also, Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, RPM, Jungle Fury. And correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't we be in about SPD times right now? Oh, yeah. Lightspeed Rescue. Sum of Time Force. Ringing any bells here, guys? In space? Lost Galaxy? Anyone? Does anyone even understand what I'm saying here? Apparently not, because I've been making these videos for 2 years now, and they haven't bothered maintaining any kind of continuity. Not that I think I have any influence on how the show goes, but come on, people have been complaining about this for more than 2 years. We have interplanetary space travel that is easy. We went back to the moon in 1993 in this universe, for God's sakes. We have intergalactic communication. How, for the love of God, were they not picking up this supposedly really super popular interplanetary, intergalactic, universal TV show. Riddle me this, Batman. I don't mean to be too angry. Kelson Henderson is doing his damnedest to make this not suck. He's the only one. I give him props for that. Anyways, yeah, that's been about enough ranting for me to let this go for a little while, so yeah. Resuming at 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh, God, the quirky music. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Giant alien monsters like the kinds that have been invading for the last 20-some years? I see a lot of Ninja footage in this. Yeah, I don't like this theme song nearly as much as I did the Dino Charge theme. If you couldn't tell by the fact that I'm not singing along. Maybe you hit them over the head with that pipe, or drive over them with your freaking truck. If you want a piece of him, you're gonna have to go through me. Well, he's not driving off, so... Okay, that's... How are you even doing... You know, I know... Wow. Dumb luck is what saved y'all's lives. I know about 5 ways that I could have gotten around those guys. That whole team. How did you get into the back? You were in the front. First off, what you do is you take one of them's weapons. Then you kill the rest. And WoW is the most dangerous ninja villain on the entire roster, reduced to such an annoying voice. He was so freaking cool. And you have taken him down beyond this moron. Beyond anything in the entirety of Dino Charge. This is a bigger insult than anything else I have ever seen for the last 2 fucking years. Even this guy, even the corruption of one of the coolest Tokyuger generals in the entire show is less of an insult than what they did to that guy. And are we about to have that scene? Is this guy... Oh, come on. He's in a jumpsuit and he looks like Doc Brown. He blends in fairly well around here. Hello. Can we nix the glasses and maybe make... What the hell was that voiceover there? Great ADR there, guys. I would love to know what the hell's about to happen here. That is clearly a compressor. That is a compressor. You can't tell me that's anything but a compressor. It's going to explode. And it shouldn't do that! Although that was a pretty good one-liner. I'd be a lot more, where the hell is he? And a lot less, whatever the fuck that was. I'm speaking as a person, not an actor in that situation. I'm just saying, that's not a logical reaction! Yes, you might want to check with the Ninja Storm Academy. He's probably there. Or, I don't know, the Order of the Claw. Do you maybe want to go back for another take on that, Peter? Because in your dad's workshop, and neither Sledge nor Lord Zed found it. Okay, that's a cool looking truck. Pause! Refer back to my rant from the opening. Greatest ninja who ever lived. It's surprising that he was never picked up by the Ninja Storm Academy. They would have loved to have a great freaking ninja training their people. Would have been nice if you would have cast, oh, I don't know, maybe one of them. Ninja Storm Yellow Ranger, anyone? Or I don't know, any of them. Bring one of them back, make one of them his dad, or his mom, or anyone. Do something that shows that you care about the continuity. And for the love of God, make it be one of the characters, not one of the actors. Don't do shit like bringing back Ricardo Medina to be a villain when he was the freaking main character in Wild Force. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, resuming at 9:18. We already saw this. We saw this. We saw this in the first episode. We literally saw this in the very first episode. How? This guy's delivery is so uninspired. You're... Ay, 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 ay. God, I'm sick of the missing father subplot already. Where's the ninja Why did you have to replay that? I have a feeling that brother's going to become the Gold Ranger. Those are screwdrivers. Those are screwdrivers, not. And it's an Omnitrix. Wonderful. What? Huh. Wow. See, you know something? Should have been easy to just smash it. You're a freaking robot. Kill. Kill. You need a voice more like a freaking chainsaw to. Well, no shit, Sherlock. No, he doesn't. Because you guys don't have it. I don't know where this guy's from, but he's got an accent that he can't even manage to hide. What? Oh, that's great. Come on. You can't. Couldn't get someone out of all of us who auditioned to be the Red Ranger. You couldn't have gotten anyone who could actually disguise an accent. They're just going to let you take that? Oh, come on. Wow, those attacks don't do very much damage. Grab something. Come on. He is literally made of chainsaws. How is it that you can take something that is literally made of chainsaws and make it so fucking lame? Oh, I know. You add a dumb voice to it. Yes, and so is the chainsaw. Also, that's not what a chainsaw would have done to an aluminum baseball bat. Also, these two, they're not even Rangers, so why the hell are you going after them? Okay. Sure. And gold. Do it. Yes. Yes, it is. I have a feeling that was put in afterwards. Oh, God. Please tell me that was a bad take and she can actually act. Go, go, Power Rangers! That's what it means. Just like you know, no, not just like you. Pausing at 1502. Ooh, yeah, Sorry. I'm hesitant to call anyone after 2009 Power Rangers. Because they're all idiots. Although, at least from what I've seen of Samurai, the biggest idiots in that show were at least Bulk and Skull, or Bulk and Skull's son. As in, Bulk and the son of Skull. Well, if you didn't know what the hell I meant. Anyways. Yeah. That's good idiocy. Resuming at 1502. Because I just had a little bit of anger that I needed to get out there that I didn't particularly want to waste for a giant what? Resuming at 1502 for real this time. I'm Brody from outer space. Yes, Ripper Rat. Even though your face is clearly that of a cat. You won't believe it. 20 teams. How did you get this? Yeah. Try and hide the screws on the back. You clearly didn't even try to spin those, and what the hell is that on the back of your head? God, it would have been nice if they'd have copied even a single ounce of how cool Ninja's morphing sequence was. No, it doesn't. Because wild was the last season's catchphrase. Good God, and we just teleported into the Ninja footage. And they've gotten huge for some reason. Wow, that's... Maybe our morphers have an attack mode. Maybe we should use that instead of the giant fuck-off sword they gave us. Or, the Kakuri Hengen was always a very... aside from its use as a shield and a claw, and this makes absolutely no sense in context. If you don't know... Don't tell me that's the end of battle catchphrase. Should we give Ripperhead one more chance? Fire the Magna Beam! Oh, wow, I wasn't even being serious! Seriously, a giant chainsaw. This is a giant chainsaw cat. How did you make it not cool? I mean, You couldn't have just had the Red Ranger's dad call him and tell him, "Hey, I built some shit for you! Just for this situation!" The way they did in an Ninja. Why do you use the sword to summon them rather than the morpher? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're literally stealing something straight from the Ninja Turtles. List of things that make no sense. First off, pausing. Why the hell is the Kodiak Zord in the back of the train? Second, why is that a train? And also, I kind of get the robot. I kind of get the truck. I definitely kind of get the dog. The hell's up with the dragon? I mean, I know why it was a dragon in an Enger, but why is it a dragon in context of this? Peter's character isn't even an actual mage. You know, like he could have been if you'd have remembered that freaking mystic force existed. No. And he's not like a dragon trainer either, although that would have been a really cool idea. You know, you royally fucked continuity last season by bringing in all of those gigantic dinosaurs. Maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe you could have had him working at the museum, working at the dinosaur zoo, training dinosaurs. Maybe then that would have had some kind of, make him a magician who trains dinosaurs. That would have been so many levels of cool. As opposed to just being... Actual magic exists in this universe. Actual literal magic. There's an evil space witch tried to invade the planet and take it over from the moon at the behest of her incredibly creepy overlord, Zed. After the whole thing with in space, which I won't spoil, there was then an organization of mystical Power Rangers that were literally fueled by magic. The Mystic Force Complete Series box set is literally sitting like 5 yards from me. And I honestly don't know what to say. They have failed so fundamentally in How to Power Ranger that I don't even understand what the hell's going on anymore. They've also failed within their own continuity because they used a whole freaking bunch of the Ninja footage when they really shouldn't have. You want to make the train Zord into a hoverboard? That's fine. But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, you should shoot a bit of original Zord footage that you... I will give you this. You can use it throughout the entire series. Use the same shot throughout the entire series. It doesn't have to be that high a quality. It doesn't have to be that much. Just shoot something that makes it not a train. Because if you're so fucking convinced that trains don't sell in the States, then, and you want to transform the train Zord into something else, go all the way. Now, I get that matching up all of that footage of all of the switching suits and suit colors in Tokyuger probably would have been very hard on the editors. But that's about the time that you pull a Jungle Fury and say, hey, we're just going to use as much Sentai footage as possible in the fight scenes and only shoot what we have to. And, I'm just throwing this out there, it would have been insanely easy for them to just shoot a bit of original morphing scenes, some setup for the fights, and then just use almost all of the stock footage whole hog, and it would have probably gone down fairly well, in fact. I mean, clearly original footage is not working well for these series. The 50% sum for like Samurai and Super Megaforce and Megaforce didn't work out all that well. The 80 some percent original footage for Dino Charge certainly didn't work out all that well. And I watched quite a bit of Kyoryuger or afterwards. There was plenty of footage that they could have used that they didn't. And plenty of footage so far from the Ninja that they could have used in this that they haven't. So it probably would have been a very good idea. So instead of adapting Ninja, just adapt to Kyuger and go for the Jungle Fury approach. Go for the original setup, the character interaction and whatnot is basically just, do that with the American actors and then just go for mostly stock footage. Yeah, I mean, it can be seen as a bit lazy, but it's obviously going to work out a lot better than trying to construct something. RPM. I keep coming back to RPM. RPM did the whole recontextualizing footage a lot better than anything else has. And I don't think they're ever going to be able to do anything like that ever again. They clearly don't even care anymore. So anyways, I'm resuming at 18 minutes and 57 seconds. Y'all don't even know what Power Rangers are. How the hell can you find out what... Yes. No, don't. Dragon Sword. This is the second Neozabun. So... Night. Good Lord in heaven. Robo Red. Shinobi Maru is somewhat odd, but it's a much cooler name than that. Nitro Zord. Come on, couldn't you have come up with better names for these things? And also, what the hell was that? This is an actual literal vehicle. Why isn't he inside of it? So is that one. Ugh. That was all new levels of nice trip. Seriously, second time there's been a thing called a Dragon Zord in Neo Saban. And what? Third time? What the? No. You just shot him with the... No! In a public school. You're parking one of the most potentially dangerous... You should put that on the other side of the door so that they can actually see that. Well, that's actually a hell of a lot smarter than I give you guys credit for. But... the hell is up with all the accent bleeding? That wasn't even your fault. I don't think it was an accident. I think it was destiny. Yeah, it was probably destiny. It was probably destiny that all this shit happened to all these random people. Yeah. It chose the 5 of them over every single other ranger. Ninja Storm would have had these guys taken and out with... No, we're not. Well, I'm glad that wasn't an accident. Please let it be Kelson. Just let it be Mick. Come on, the other one at least had an excuse for. Why? Why do you have it? I don't know why, but this is making me a lot angrier than I thought it would. Not helped by the fact that they're still using Roman numerals in their copyright numbers. That's incredibly dumb to get upset about, but everyone else has been using actual numbers. You know, the Arabic numerals. Everyone else has been using Arabic numerals for hundreds, thousands of years. I don't know what to say. Somehow they managed to get even dumber. Somehow things have gotten even worse. I know that the dino thing was gonna dino thing. I know that the dinosaurs are gonna cause problems, most likely, but are they really just going with the Jonathan Zakor's series had a lot more continuity to them than these do. Why? Zakor thought of every season as its own little thing except for whatever crossovers that had to be put in. And yet, Samurai crossed over with RPM. Super Megaforce crossed over with everything. I mean, technically everything. Functionally speaking, not a whole lot, but still. Come on! Dino Charge acted like there hadn't been anything else that ever existed. And Ninja Steel is acting like it too. That doesn't. Why? It doesn't make any sense. Even Super Sentai not having a continuity to it made very little sense in terms of storytelling because they had crossovers at times impacted future canon. And eventually they fixed that because now they're all in the same universe. I mean, technically, sort of. If you squint right. Good God. You know what? I think I'm just going to watch some more SPD and try and get this bullshit out of my system. Or hell, maybe I'll go and watch some Kamen Rider X8 or Kuga or Agito or Gaim or anything. We'll go back and watch the Ninja again. That was for everything that was wrong with it, it was good. It was at least that much. It was competent. They did things in it. I mean, they're doing things here, but they actually had crossovers in the Ninja. They brought in the Red Ranger from Hurricane. They brought in the Red Ranger from Kakuranger. Had crossovers. They did cool things. They didn't waste every single opportunity they had. They at least tried to do things with it. I don't think I've ever seen a series piss away as much as this did within the first 2 episodes. And they really did. It took Dino Charge a long time to throw away everything it had built. It takes. It's taken other series longer to get bad than this has. And part of it comes down to the theme. I could have bought that, set set the Tokyo adaptation in like another universe. Set it post RPM. It would make sense. It would fit in perfectly. Just all you'd have to do is a little bit of tweaking and it would work fine. But the fact that this is a ninja-based season with space stuff in it, when there have been so many other ninja-based and martial arts-based seasons, that it doesn't make sense. And space, space. There was a whole series called In Space that Judd Lin worked on. He wrote all kinds of episodes for it. And I'm starting to think that maybe he's part of the problem. Maybe, just maybe. And I'm not saying we should get Jonathan Zakor back because, oh, good lord, have you seen Super Mega Force? I've seen plenty of it, and I really don't think it was all that well made. But above all of that, they just keep screwing up. And I don't know if the series can survive if they keep screwing up like this. Because for all of its faults, Super Mega Force sold toys. It had a cool gimmick. The Ninja Power Stars are not a cool gimmick. They weren't a cool gimmick in... They weren't even a gimmick in the Ninja. They had like... What? They had the 5, 10... 12. They had very few ninja stars in that series. And now they've got all these other ninja stars. Mind you, they're absolute garbage. I mean, have you seen that one review where the star popped off? I think it was Dawson Rider's review, where he tried to take off one of the red stars, and it literally broke in half. Dino Charge, for all of its faults, I loved the Dino Charge toy line. They were really well made. Cool dinosaurs, the batteries, they got this cool clicky motion to them, and shiny stuff, and the batteries go in the morpher, and they make cool sounds, and you don't really have all that much reduced functionality to the morpher, and you can use the Dino Chargers with the freaking mecha as opposed to the Ninja Steel stuff where it's almost purposefully not compatible, or it might be accidentally incompatible, because I honestly wouldn't put it past Bandai of America to have royally fucked up the toy line and without realizing it. I mean, come on, they did release a whole freaking pack of power coins for $30 when they already came with the freaking morpher. I mean, you couldn't have just released the morpher at a budget price or something like that. You had to go and release something that nobody asked for, by the way. You couldn't put out, oh, I don't know, a legacy figure weapons pack. You know, the thing that people have been begging you guys for at least like 4 months now. And you also couldn't just make some decent quality stars. They're foam. They are foam fins. There is hard rubber out there that would work just as well. Or, and here's a fun thought, maybe you could have not sold them as a throwing gimmick. Because Bandai of America does this really weird thing where they try and add functionality to things that really shouldn't even be there. They try to have like this game with the keys where you like flick them together and they do things. But it didn't work. Nobody liked it. Nobody cared about it. All we care about is like having the little keys to represent the Rangers that we love. Or the cool suits. Or the characters. Or whatever. And then they tried to add, they added in things that made the Dino Chargers not show accurate. You got to press it twice to get from uncharged to charged, and press it twice to get from charged to uncharged. But, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was less of a big deal than the things literally being garbage. Literally being like subpar or trash. And not only that, they can't spin. The Bandai of Japan ones could spin. And you know what? I could probably figure out a way to make them spin properly without even adding a motor. And part of it comes down to the fact that they did have to eliminate electronics from it so that they could make them more palatable for the target demographic. I get that. But you can also, you can also make them so that they will stick in place and spin. And also, maybe you could have added an eject mechanism. Rather than having to manually pull them out by the fragile foam fins. Speaking from the perspective of a kid who liked his toys to last, I really didn't like toys that had foam pieces. Because no matter how well you take care of them, foam never lasts. It always frays or smushes or compresses or wrinkles or tears. That's why Nerf darts, no kid cares about Nerf darts. You can lose 1 million Nerf darts or Nerf discs. And as long as you get some back, it'll be all right. Because the thing is, Nerf darts are mostly disposable, honestly. You care about the guns. The gun's the cool part. You still look cool when you've got the Maverick Rev 6, the Recon CS6, or the Praxis. Or, any of those things. They look cool. And they also feel cool in your hands. They have a bit of weight to them. And for as much as I love the Ninja toy line, the Kakuri Hengen is such a cool piece of kit. It's a shame it doesn't have more purpose to it. But, the Ninja Ichibanto, it is a cool sword. It is the coolest sword you could have out of a design like that. And it's like the frog gun. The frog gun was kind of but it was also really, it really fit in with the whole aesthetic of it all. And the mecha looks so cool. And they managed to ruin it somehow. And they made it. I wouldn't pay $5 for that Megazord. And pay I wouldn't pay $10 for the bastardized version of the Morpher they got. And I really wouldn't want to buy that weird sword because they're because it's not a Morpher anymore, they removed all Morpher functionality, which means the whole reason why I would have liked to have it is gone, even though they made it longer. And the thing is, they didn't actually make it longer, they made the whole thing functionally shorter. Because they made the handle shorter and everything else longer. Almost as if they're ignoring the adult collector market entirely, even though the adult collector market is part of the whole reason this thing is still going in the first place. Like, I know there's a legacy line, but, the people who loved the show or when they were kids don't stop watching because they grow older. They stop watching because the show gets shit. And the show has been shit for 7 years now. And the toy line hasn't been that great since Operation Overdrive. There was a reason the Overdrive Megazord was nicknamed Die-Broken. Because it was. It was broken. It was a terrible, terrible Megazord. And the Morpher, also incredibly reduced functionality, but it was still better than the Ninja Steel Morpher. Mostly because it didn't have to have all the removing and adding of the moving parts. The disc at the bottom still spun. You still got some of the proper things out of it. Didn't have everything, but it still worked. It was still functional. And you could still hold it in an adult's hand and not have it look absolutely ridiculous. Jungle Fury. They brought over the Japanese versions of the two main Megazords. They didn't bring over any of the auxiliary Zords. But, at the very least, those, the ones that they put out, the Transforming Megazord line, was actually functional. It worked. It wasn't... You couldn't just, casually... you couldn't casually bump it and have one of the legs fly off, for God's sake. And, RPM had high-quality Megazord builds. Morpher, that's kind of up to debate, but the thing is that the Morpher had... It looked right, and it did most of what it was supposed to. Most of the toy line back in the Disney era still did most of what was supposed to. Then along came Samurai. And guess what? Oh yeah, that Morpher sucked. Then there was the Gosei Morpher and the Super Mega Force Legendary Morpher. Those were actually... I actually really do like those. I like the Gosei Morpher a lot better than the Super Mega Force Legendary because they kind of screwed everyone on the functionality of it all, but it at least does a hell of a lot more than the Ninja Steel one does because, newsflash, they actually had, team names. And while they didn't have, and this is something that I couldn't even understand. I couldn't fathom why they didn't just say you know, they could have a key cut on one side for all of the colors that it can possibly be, and have like the presence or absence of one be a different color, and that would mean that you could save a whole lot of space. And then you could have like on the other side something that would appear, it would trigger the team name. So, you could have the individual colors for each Ranger key. But they didn't do that in Japan, and it was still alright. And it was actually still fairly functional as a morpher itself. It wasn't perfect, but, it was a lot better than some things. Samuraiser. Then along came Dino Charge. Dino Charge was basically alright. The morpher was way too small, and they removed the freaking trigger guard for some ungodly reason. And they also removed the second port, and you couldn't put the chargers in the Zords and close the mouths. But everything generally looked the way it was supposed to. We got super screwed on the Titano Charge Megazord, but other than that, everything else was fine. And then along comes Ninja Steel, and they blew everything. They screwed up everything for this entire series so far. They screwed up the Megazord, they screwed up the Morpher, they screwed up the Ninja Stars, they screwed up the Blade, they screwed up the Kakari Hengun. I know I've gone over that before, but hey, I figured I'd just throw that out there because they appear to be really seriously screwing things. Oh, by the way, yeah, they're using their swords to summon their Zords. When the sword doesn't actually have a reader in it. You can't actually use the sword to summon a Zord with a Zord Star. That would have been about the right time to use some original footage there, Chippy boy. Instead, they just used Ninja footage. And Judlin bowed to Bandai's stupid request because they could sell more gear. Because swords sell well, and morphers sell well. So they didn't want to have a morpher that was also a sword, while they had the Kakari Hengen, which is generally just used as a shield. It's used as a shield and a claw and a bow occasionally. Nobody really uses the sword mode because, come on, you've got a giant fuck-off katana in your right hand. It doesn't really make any sense to go to that extra step. And this is the first real time I'm watching a Power Rangers series, having seen most of the corresponding Super Sentai series, and that's part of why I'm so angry, is that for all of its faults, for everything that it had going against it, Ninja has done everything better so far. Ninja had a better first episode, Ninja has had a better second episode, it will probably have had a better finale, and it'll probably have a better every other episode, except for maybe like a couple here and there. And it all comes down to what? Trains don't sell well? I mean, I know they probably would have screwed that too, but come on. I have a Resha sitting right next to me, and wouldn't have been that hard. These things aren't that expensive to make. I mean, come on. There's like a couple of places. There's at the bottom, and then you just add the articulation on them. I mean, you're golden. Probably would have had a lot better toy sales, too. You could have... I'm just looking at this Resha here, or the Go-On Resha, in case you're wondering. And I'm just thinking, this is a very high-quality toy. It is probably the highest quality toy I have ever held in my hands. And it's because it is a very... very nicely painted, very nice plastic, and very nice paint. They could have downgraded it a bit, but they wouldn't have had to do much along the ways of paint because the paint is basic. It's a train. They don't have every window painted. And all you have to do is like mold most of these details in, and you're basically all right. You could have just used the Japanese molds and added in all of the Zord Builder functionality that Bandai of America seems to love so much. I like it too. It's just that if Zord Builder functionality means that we lose toy quality, I'd rather not have it. It shouldn't be that hard to just, bring over the Tokyuger stuff 100%. Bring it over 100%. It doesn't need to be changed because for everything that you could say about it, it's first off, it's cool, and second, you know, it's not like you couldn't like stick two of these in a pack and sell them for $10. Two of these little Zord Reshes in a pack, sell them for $10, and boom, you're making your money back. And they work as Zords, and they work for the Morpher too. You wouldn't have had to change all that. You wouldn't have had to change anything. You could have brought it all over. This is one of the few series that was almost tailor-made for you guys in terms of merchandise. And you turned it down. God. Anyways, I'm going to sign off because I've been ranting and raving for about an hour now. Hour and 10 minutes almost. And I need to get this video uploaded. So I'll see y'all later. See you next week with the next episode. If I don't decide to stop doing these. Because at this point I might, and I might just, I don't know, start writing reviews about how cool Power Rangers SPD is.